But why don't we start at the very beginning and talk about actually finding the site? How did it come about?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Finding the site on this one was through the agent, and we have a very good relationship with several agents. But
Yep.
yeah, and he's brought us a couple of deals in the past, and yes, this one was an easy fit for us and him and the vendor, so it worked out really well for all parties.
Can you guys open up a little bit more about good agent and sorry, not good agent, good relationship with an agent?
Yeah,
Yes.
Mark gets in their face, basically.
Okay. I do remember getting a lot of calls from you when I was an agent. Like you are very good at that, I must say.
Yes, it's consistency. I mean, as you being an ex-agent would know, as you said just then, that I was ringing you all the time, and if you're not in somebody's, as Nicola says, face, or if you're not consistent ringing the agent, then you just get forgotten. So it's just far easier, and yeah, I just keep ringing and annoying people.
For anyone that's wanting to build more relationships with agents, can you talk about that kind of level of consistency? Because consistency could mean a lot of different things. Is that every day, every week, every month? Like what's kind of a standard? And what do you talk about? How do you build the relationship?
Well, it's usually going to opens to start with to create some sort of relationship to start with, because once an agent sees you once or twice or three times, they start to know you a little bit more,
Hmm.
and basically telling them exactly what you're looking for. And then I have a little spreadsheet that I have on the computer where I ring the agents and when I've rung them and whether I've left a message or not a message. So it's usually once a month that I'll ring the agents, and it just becomes, yeah, as many have gone, they ring and say, "No, Mark, I haven't got anything for you today." So it's just consistency.
And it's very good at of remembering, who plays golf, who goes diving, who goes fishing, things like that. That he doesn't put on a spreadsheet, but he's very good at remembering, linking,
And so like bringing it back to a
experience.
personal level.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you jump on the phone as well? Or is this more like this is
No,
Mark's lane?
That's Mark's deal. Yeah. So I'm not not me.
Okay.
We both have very different roles in our the whole journey. So and we don't cross over very much at all.
It's the best way to do it though, isn't it? Because you complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. Like just before, like there's a board in the studio that I ask everyone to write on and what they owe their success to. And it made me smile and not in only a positive way, because I do the exact same thing with my wife, Bianca. Mark was going to write something. He's like, how do you spell that? Bianca and I are the compliments as well. She's like the grammar Nazi spelling queen and I can't spell to save myself. And it's like, it's such a comfort, I think, when you've got a relationship, whether it's a JV partnership or a marriage or whatever, where you've both got strengths and weaknesses in the opposite areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's where we work so well together, because exactly that. Where I fall down, Nicola picks up, and where she falls down, which is not many things,
I have
I
plenty.
pick up.
No, yeah. And Mark definitely is the negotiator and the relationship builder with our JV partners as well.
Okay.
Not just with agents. He's better at that than I am.
Yeah,
Okay.
we do the same with JV partners as we do with the agents, where we have a bit of a spreadsheet and keep in contact. Even if we haven't got a deal, we still keep in contact with them.
So you never get forgotten.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hard to forget this face.
So,
Isn't it?
so you've stayed in touch with this agent, and I actually don't mind giving them a shout out. This was Sean, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sean
Moxlow?
Moxlow. Yeah.
So a good friend, good guy, good agent. You've stayed in touch with him, and what he's brought you this deal. He's like, how's it come about?
Yeah, he brought it to us. He's brought us a couple of deals in the past.
Yep.
Again, for his vendors that didn't want to go to market, didn't want someone wandering through the home, all those sort of things. So,
Okay.
and this was pretty much the same. Was an out of state owner, and it was rented, and they didn't really want people running through the house. So it was just like, hey, Mark, we got a deal for you. Do you want it? Straight away, do our numbers and say, oh, yes, please. That sounds good.
Yeah. And we pay the asking price on this one, which that makes it easier for all round, especially when you've got somebody interstate selling.
So as far as finance is concerned, so you've built relationships with multiple agents. You've got a great deal through an agent. By the sounds of things, you didn't like smash out a tiny price or anything. You saw the opportunity was there, and it was like, let's just actually pay the asking price because we can see enough of a return.
Sure.
And you're going to secure the site. How are you getting the financing together? You going to banks? You're doing a JV? What's the
Yeah.
story?
Well, the thing that we didn't negotiate on the price, but we did negotiate on settlement terms. So we got a
Interesting.
6-month settlement.
Okay.
And so we put the contract in our entity's name. And then when we later decided who was going to joint venture with us, we assigned the contract over to them.
Can you open that up a little bit more for anyone that's very fresh at property and there's just kind of gone, what?
Yeah, sure. So, so we typically, use a company and trust structure to buy property. So that's our entity and that's our business name, what have you. And then it's a thing in South Australia. You can't do it in every state, but what you do is then do a deed of assignment, and then that person takes over the contract. So the contract basically, the deed of assignment makes it go into their name.
Mhm.
So then they settle and they can service the property then.
And this is something, because I've sold a deed of assignment before,
Yeah.
and on selling them, it was a little bit trickier because then getting the buyer to wrap their head around it and not feel like they had anything dodgy put in front of them
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
different challenge.
Right.
But you've got a deed of assignment that's going over with a JV partner that's educated. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that way it kind of avoids like having to pay like double stamp duty or.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And so as far as JV partners are concerned, so you've got like a bit of a pool of these people that you've built relationships with over time, and they've just got like capital in the wings, like waiting for you guys to find a project, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of them have got capital, some have got cash, some have got serviceability, and some have got both. So
Okay.
every deal that we do, it all comes down to what is going to suit that JV partner. So sometimes, as in another deal where we've done some servicing, but then we've had private money from partners. And other times it's been, but they've supplied, somebody else has supplied the servicing, so they pay the bank,
Mhm.
and other people supply the cash to do the deal and do the deposit.
How do you guys vet people to know that they're legit and not just people going, yeah, I would like to do a deal, and then they disappear at that crucial moment?
Yeah. Relationships, again, it comes down to that. So networking. So most of our JV partners have met through networking events,
Okay.
and then we tend to build up them, relationship over time. So we feel like we're a really good judge of character. Touch wood, nothing.
Yeah.
We've never JV'd with anybody, and we have refused JV partners as well based on it doesn't really align with us, or that we don't trust them for some reason.
Yep.
Because trust is obviously everything. We don't have a particular, like a spreadsheet checklist or anything like that. We just go on.
Bit of gut feel?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And having that conversation early, like who has got what kind of thing can you service? If you don't know, go to a broker and then, figure out, and then we literally do the spreadsheet of someone's got this and this, it's this servicing, this cash. And when we find a deal, who's going to best align, who's in the right spot at the right time to be able to joint venture with.
Okay. And so for the timing side of things, how does it normally work? Because if you've got finance approved, there can still be 30 days, 45 days. Like I know during COVID, we were waiting months sometimes to get finance approval.
Yeah.
But with the partners that you guys have got, is it almost instant? It's like if they've got the equity out sitting there or they've got their serviceability ready.
Yeah, they need to be ready. That's exactly right. Yeah. So if they're not, then you move down the list onto somebody else, and then hopefully they're ready next time.
Okay. And so that's one of the things I'm assuming right now that gives you a big edge when you're going to buy. It's not, oh yeah, we can probably get this. It's like I can settle tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, but you know what I mean? Like you can move fast.
Yeah,
fast.
absolutely. It is that way. And also with some of the JV partners or private money lenders that we have, that if one doesn't suit in regards, if we put an offer on a deal, I mean, we have the confidence to put an offer on a deal, jump on it, do it straight away within, like we can do that within an hour, 2 hours after a bit of due diligence. Obviously, you've got
Wow.
a due diligence clause in,
Uh-huh.
but as far as an agent is concerned, all of a sudden, well, we've got the money, we've got the borrowing, and we can just jump onto a deal instantly.
What do you prefer, money partner or JV partner?
I like both.
I like both. Like Mark says, often with the sort of money partner side of things, if it's a set sort of loan that you're borrowing from
Mhm.
somebody, the return often isn't as good for them as if you're doing a profit share. But it's not just our choice; it's their choice as well. So people, if you're doing a profit share with somebody, it's perhaps a bit riskier for them. Whereas here's lend them money and you get a set return, interest rate back on them. So it's kind of their risk tolerance as well.
How do you go with people that are maybe a bit nervous that go, no, I want the profit share because they can see that there's potentially more there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then I'm trying to think now of the decision-making process. Have you ever had someone that you kind of thought was a good fit, but then all of a sudden they just started trying to micromanage, they didn't know how to manage? Like, how do you manage that kind of relationship during a deal?
Well, it's a bit like our marriage. We just do it all Nicola's way.
You're a smart man, mate.
Yeah, I know. We really haven't had an issue in regards to that. All the partners that we've done, I suppose, maybe as like Nicola's saying, it's all a gut feel.
Mhm.
That the people that we have done JVs with have just been awesome. I mean, again, a lot of them, they're too busy. They're off earning, got good jobs, earning really good money, and they
Yep.
don't have the time to put into a project because it's. A lot of people don't see what goes behind a project. They see the figures. They see, oh, you bought it for this, you sold it for this, oh, you made 100 grand. Hey, that's fantastic.
Mhm.
But all the intricacies and things that are buried behind the scenes of what goes on, a lot of people don't see. And some of the JV partners, they're not even interested in that. They're just interested in going, yeah, teach me a little bit, but here's the money, here's my profit, thanks, let's go again.
Yeah. Okay. So whilst it could happen, it doesn't really happen.
We haven't had
No.
that.
Yeah.
And I think that's because of the gut feel. And Nicola's very, very good at reading people. And like she said, there's been people that have come to us and said, hey, look, I've got this much money, I've got this much servicing, we can do it. And it's just, we don't feel comfortable. We don't feel like it's a good fit for us.
Mhm.
So it's like, thanks, but we're right. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else on the finance side of things that's noteworthy or potentially helpful for anyone listening?
Just on this deal we're talking about now, I guess we did because we had the joint venture. They serviced the loan, and then we're putting some cash into the deal. We also had another partner bring some money into it as well.
Mhm.
So we took a caveat out over the property so that we were protecting other people's interests as well.
And can you open up a little bit about a caveat and how that works?
Yeah, so a caveat basically gives you some protection after if somebody was going to sell a property.
Yep.
Obviously the bank get the first mortgage on it, the first bite of the cherry, if you
Mhm.
say. A caveat will protect your interest, so you'll get notified that something's happening with a property, and then you've got a very narrow window to be able to get it back to court and say, hey, I've got an interest in this property, and that's the caveat side of things.
Okay. So it's like a bit of an extra insurance policy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
just protects us and protects the people that we owe the money to.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
And so as far as back of envelope numbers are concerned,
Yeah.
when you were standing at the front, you're doing the quick figures. What did they look like?
Good. Really good. So as in actual figures or?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
because I'm assuming you don't go into detailed FISO straight away. You
Oh,
always
no.
like sort of scribble them down
Yeah,
first.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
did the scribbles kind of come out to?
So we purchased it 1.21 million.
Yes.
1.21. Yep.
Yeah. And then we had some purchase costs and finance and holding costs, strategy costs. So we were looking at total development costs around that 1.42.
Okay, so
Right.
1.42. Yep.
Yeah. And we were hoping for sales so there were 3 blocks, hoping for sales at 550 each. So that's sort of 1.5.
And for 3 blocks. Okay.
Yeah.
And so for 1.5 and
Oh, sorry, 550, sorry, 1.65.
1.65.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
was going to say that was a bit narrow.
Yeah.
1.65. All right, so 1.65. So you're looking at a few $100,000 profit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And as far as the time's concerned, for anyone that's never subdivided a block, that's how much effort's actually in all of this coordination? Because like you were saying before, people just see the $100,000 profit and go, oh, all you did is make a phone call. But like, what do you reckon hours wise you'd actually put into something like this? Like 20 hours, 50 hours?
I think it wouldn't be definitely more than 20. It's not heaps and heaps, but it's I'd say maybe closer to 50, something like that.
Yeah, I'd say maybe a tad more. I mean, there's time spent going up to the property, and with this one, we had to do. It had a really good kitchen in it, so we took that out and sold it,
Okay.
and a few other little bits and pieces. There wasn't too much salvageable in there, so there's that part as well, which is my role to organise some of the salvage stuff. But apart from that, it's just mainly paper shuffling, which is what Nick is very good at.
Okay, so hours wise, there's a decent amount of effort, but it's not crazy town.
No.
Yeah. And most of it's at the front end when you're analysing the deal, trying to get the money together and make it all stack together.
Yep. And again, all that stuff that no one sees.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And now, as far as the high points, what were like the bits that you just go, oh, if every deal could be like this?
I think this particular property has the most beautiful sea views. And I think we had a little bit of time when not much was happening, and we took our caravan up to the block and sat there and had a look at the sea
Yeah.
for a few days. So that was nice.
Yeah, if every block was like that, or every doer like that, would be fantastic as well. But we have done that on many occasions. Put the caravan on the block while we're doing the division or demolition and that
Or a
sort of stuff,
renovation,
or a
yeah.
renovation and stuff as well. But yeah, I think this one was special because it was just awesome sea views and stuff. And in some ways, we still regret by not keeping one block ourselves. But it all comes back to, if we were to keep one block ourselves, we would have to pay retail because we had a JV partner involved. So
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So are you guys going to start doing a little bit of that? Like if you're financing it yourself and like building out the portfolio a bit more, or
Yeah.
Yeah?
We've just settled
doing
on a
it
new
now.
property last week, and we're going to keep one of those. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's another development, not a
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. So, as far as the highs are concerned, apart from having some beautiful views, was there anything project-wise that was like a big standout, one of those like one in a millions, or was it pretty straightforward?
Yeah. I don't,
Oh,
yeah,
it was,
I
no, it was
don't
pretty
think
straightforward. I think, which we'll go through later, was the resale blocks of the land was I can say that's a very good high point.
Yeah.
Oh, I would say as well, actually, just now, I've just had another thought that we had DA approval in 21 business days, which was fabulous. So that was a nice bonus for this one.
And did you use like a private certifier, or how did that come about?
Town planner, yeah.
Town planner. Can you
Yeah.
talk us through a little bit of that, because that sounds like that's a really interesting point.
Yeah, and again, this is a relationship thing. So Mark's got a great relationship with our town planner, and he works a lot in the council area that we're talking about. He used to work for the council actually as their town
That's
planner.
what you
so
want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good.
killer bloke, and
Yeah.
he knows his stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark's just been fishing with him like a couple of weekends ago. So
You're really good at relationships, Mark.
He had to pay for himself. I didn't pay for it.
they weren't on a charter. Paid for him fish probably. You got caught a lot, didn't you? That's by the by.
So you're getting a town planner that you've got a great relationship with, and they're putting it through in 21 days. Now, to give that as a bit of a comparison, how long should this have taken if you didn't have it like sort of pushed through the system like that?
Oh, you can get. I mean, you can be lucky, but like comparatively, I know that you've got a sort of national audience, Todd, and some DAs can take a year to get through. So to have it in under a month was really good.
Yeah, it was pretty special.
And
Yeah.
just in case for anyone listening over on the eastern side, like DA, there's all different names, because isn't it also like a certificate of construction? Like you guys would probably know more.
Plan sealing, things like that aren't
Yeah.
SA terms. Yeah.
So, but we're basically talking about permission to actually build, to develop.
They call it. South Australia's called a development approval.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's permission to knock the building down and to have the subdivision approved.
Okay.
Okay,
And
yeah.
that's permission from the council, not permission from the bank.
Yes.
Gotcha.
We don't tell the bank we're knocking it
Yeah.
down. They get a bit hucky about that.
Yeah, they do a bit actually.
Yeah.
All right. What about some of the low points? What were the points that you just think, I could have done without that?
There were quite a few low points in this one as far as that's concerned, but
Okay.
certainly one of the biggest ones was the demolition. The demolition guys were delayed very, very much. Every week I'd ring them and they'd delay, and then it's next week, and then next week, and after
I think it was about
probably
3 months.
I was going to say
Sorry.
about 3 months, and
Yeah.
then we said, "No, you guys are useless." So we sacked them, and
Oh, you waited 3 months.
yeah, it was.
What was happening? Like that's I'm assuming they were given some pretty genuine sounding reasons.
Yeah, it was just
Seems
that
so.
time because of COVID or finishing of COVID. The people were all the houses there was lots of people doing development, so they were very, very busy doing demolishing, and
Right.
we had some pretty nasty weather, so they just used all sorts of excuses to keep delaying. And I think at the end of the day, what it was with the original quote that they did
Yep.
was they were just with things, I suppose, dumping fees, etc., all going up. That they were just not going to make any money. So I think that's what it was about.
Right. Okay. And instead of actually just telling you that, it was easier
Yeah.
just to
Yeah.
go, oh, next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So we ended up moving to a different demolition company, which cost us a heck of a lot more.
Did you get close to just hiring a big backhoe and being like, I'll just do this myself?
I tried that not that long ago on a renovation or a block project that we've got at the moment.
Yeah.
I used a bobcat that was left there for us.
That would have been fun.
It was fun, but I tell you what, after a day on a bobcat, I thought, how could anyone do that for a living? I couldn't walk.
Oh, it's like because it
Yeah,
vibrates. Or?
vibrates and jolts and carries on. So no, I couldn't. Nah, let them do that sort of stuff. These guys that run those machines are just insane. They are fantastic at what they do.
Yeah, you seen like the Bobcat Ballet and
Yeah.
stuff. You remember that
Yes.
Farmers Union
Yes.
ad?
Yeah, absolutely. So that was an issue. The other issue we had, another low point, was asbestos. They found hidden asbestos under the tiles. So someone had laid tiles over the top of asbestos on the floor.
So who's they?
Previous
The
owners.
demo company. Sorry,
No.
yeah, they is the person who laid the tiles, but
Yep.
they found
Yeah.
which is a demo
The demo,
company.
sorry,
yeah.
the demo company found them. Yeah.
So now, is that something that should have been done as like they should have pre-inspected it?
You couldn't see it. It was under. So if you can imagine, you had normal floor tiles.
Yeah.
And under the normal floor tiles were asbestos tiles.
Gotcha.
So you'd never see it
Yeah.
in
Okay.
any way, shape, or form. So that was a bit of an issue.
So that wasn't a drop the ball thing. That was just one of those things.
That's
Yeah.
one of those things. And the other one of those things was when they were digging the ground up, they found a whole pile of buried asbestos,
Oh, wonderful.
which was obviously from that area was all shacks many, many years ago and stuff like that. So obviously at some stage when they were building that, they were demolishing some shacks and they just buried them all. So they ended up having to do what they call an emu pick, which is so they stopped the demolition. And then obviously they've come back to me and said, hey, this is what's happened, and sent me photos, and found photos of where it all been crunched up, all these buildings and stuff. So they call them an emu pick because they just have it's manual. So the guys have to go around and physically move rocks around and pick them up hand by hand or bit by bit. So they call it an emu pick, which is expensive.
And what does this do? Because if someone's like picking up asbestos manually, I'm assuming that's like increasing the bill quite a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, dramatically,
Yeah.
because they're all suited up.
Yeah.
They got masks, suits, blah blah blah, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And that took them, I think it was just over a day. And so it obviously added another day's cost.
Do you remember what it added to the budget?
Yeah, so the demo cost, bear in mind that we did have a quote from a cheaper company
Mhm.
initially. So it was 15.5 and it went to over 30.
30 grand.
Yeah.
And how much of that was the asbestos out of interest?
I don't
Actually, I'm not
remember, to be
sure. It was
honest.
it was just like everything. It just rolled into one. So with the asbestos, like the first lot of asbestos, then the second lot of asbestos. So
I'm not sure
yeah,
if I don't remember. Yeah.
I talked to someone the other day about knocking down a house and they were saying about 20. Is that a bit out of touch, you reckon?
No, I think that's about right now. Yeah, I think we just got, we have paid less and then the dumping fees have gone up and labour's gone up and everything. So I think that's about standard.
And it depends on the concrete, bricks, that sort of gear as well.
Yeah.
We've got one that we're doing soon. Will be in January or February. Actually, February, and that's just a timber frame home. So that timber frame home, we've got a quote that's only going to be, I think it was 13.
Yep.
That's a lot
That's
cheaper.
pretty good. Yeah.
No
Okay.
concrete or bricks.
Circling back a little bit to the delays, if you could have your time again with that, what's the biggest takeaway that you'd now implement moving forward into other projects to try and circumnavigate? And I know COVID was like it was a once in a lifetime, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But is there any takeaway that you do have that you're like, this is what we do now?
I think finding like the abolishments with getting rid of, like for people who are not sure, but when they get rid of the electricity and the gas,
Yep.
and NBN for that matter, that you need to find out exactly when that's going to occur. And the example is for that one, there were some delays because of other happenings in the marketplace and stuff. So there were
Mhm.
delays with the abolishments as well. So yeah, I think getting all your ducks in a row. So finding out when the demolishing is actually going to start. But they can't start until the abolishments have done. So you just need, it's just a process and line by line. So yeah, I'll probably be on top of that a bit more than what I was then. And saying that, we did that yesterday with one that we're going to demolish. So I got the abolishment sorted, and the tenant is not going to move out until middle of January. And we got an email pretty much straight away sent to us and also to the tenant saying, we'll be around in 15 days for the abolishment to get rid of your electricity. So
Okay.
maybe I
Had
jumped
to
the gun a
undo
little bit too much there, but it's just the timelines and just, I suppose it's all about experience and just moving forward to know exactly when and how to go about it.
And buying lots of candles for your tenant.
Yeah. Generator.
Well, as far as the rental there is no rental process, the sales process for you guys on this one, what were the big notable sort of moments of that?
So I think we were our physio said that we were going to sell them for $550, and we decided because they were beautiful blocks that we would put them up quite expensive. So 600 grand was what we started marketing at.
Mm-hmm. And were there any comps that supported that, or were you guys swinging for the fence?
No, we were swinging for the
yeah.
fence. It was,
Okay.
I mean, the agent, he's fantastic, as we know. We said about him. And he said, "Oh, I think that might be a bit high." So, hang on, let's have a crack at this and let's just see where we end up. Yeah,
The
'cause-
beautiful thing, I think, sorry to interrupt,
Yeah, go ahead.
was that there weren't comparables, and that made it really difficult for people to know what they should be paying for such great views. So that gave us the ability to be able to swing it and to try and push our luck a bit.
Not having comparables can be a terrible thing, but if you use it to your side or on your advantage, it can be a wonderful thing to be like, yeah, there is nothing to compare this to. We're looking at a one and only, the rarity of it, the scarcity of it, all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And by the sounds of things, then did you achieve the 600? And did that work?
On lot one, we
On lot one?
achieved 600, and then one of them was 580 and one was 590. So an average of 590. So yeah, it worked well.
It's pretty close.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And so the 165, was that the original FISO numbers?
Yes, yeah.
So
right.
you ended up with what, 178?
Yeah, something like that was, yeah.
What do we end up? 177.
Yeah.
177. That's brilliant. So you made
Terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Jeez, your standards are high. Fantastic. And how long did it take from signing contracts for the first, like for the actual block itself,
Yep.
to signing the last sales contract and going, okay, we're done?
We had a 6-month settlement. So if you took it from, can I alter your question slightly and take
sure.
it from when we settled on the property to when we settled on all 3 blocks on the same day, 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah.
So you got a good velocity of return then as well for a development.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was really good. I think the return on cash was around 55%, but if you annualize it, it was 82%.
And how much of your own money did you put into this, or was this all JV?
No, we did have a little bit of our money in there, but very minor. So we're
10, wasn't it? Was
we
it
put
10?
10 grand deposit in there, and then we put another 20 grand in during the process.
I've got to ask, the whole deal is costing something like 1.42. Why 10 grand? You just short on celebration money?
No, and we could have actually pulled that 10 grand back out and have no money at all in the deal. But we were advised from our solicitor that when you put a caveat over a property, if you keep a little bit of financial interest, you can prove to the court that you've got a valid reason to have that second dip on the money. So the caveat protects you better if you've got a financial interest still.
Right. Okay. And so by having 10 grand, it's significant enough. So this isn't one of those kinds of things how you like tape $1 to a company document so it's never trading insolvent, but it's enough that a court would go, yeah, okay, you're in.
Yeah, I don't even think it needs to be 10. Maybe it could be, I don't know if it could be 500. It's just that if we kept the deposit on the contract in there, that was the proof.
Right. Okay. So 10K in. So you've basically pulled this together with a whole bunch of different skills, with knowledge, with past experiences. This isn't you guys putting in hundreds of thousands of dollars with your own money. You've effectively raised all the capital, all but 10 grand. And from what you're saying there, that's for more, that's I want to say legal reasons, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Kind of, for legal reasons. The project's flown by in 8 months, even though you had delays. So by the sounds of things, if the demo guys actually did what they were supposed to do, you would have got it done in 5 months just about,
exactly.
which is insane. That's really quick. I'm really seeing here, like I like to try and sum up what people are doing and what their real superpower is. And it sounds like for you guys, it is really having those relationships, because I like to, and this is actually an interesting exercise to do. When you either look at your life, a situation or whatever, start taking things away from it to go, would I still be here if that wasn't here? And I look at this and I kind of think, if you didn't have your demo guys, like the problem there, you'd still get there. Like that's taking that away, putting that in, it's not really changing it. Yeah. But if you took the agent away, they wouldn't have called you. They wouldn't have given you the site. Maybe it would have gone to market and you would have got it, but there's a possibility that you could have missed out. If you took your other guy away, I'm just assuming it's a guy, the what's it called?
The town planner?
Town planner.
Yes.
Yeah. Most women don't like fishing, and you said you went fishing. So but But if you took him out of it, it sounds like, again, it would have happened, but it would have happened a lot slower, potentially
Yes,
like a
yeah.
year slower.
Sure.
So then one could argue that maybe that's not as important. But then when it comes down to the feasibility side of things, if you're holding $1.4 million for a year, there's some big holding costs
Yes.
Absolutely.
as
For
well.
sure.
And then on top of that as well, you've got all of your JV partnerships. So the relationship side of things, and then the skill to actually pull it off. Because it's one thing to have all these partners and to be this awesome person that people are attracted to, but unless you can actually do what you say you can do, the wheels fall off pretty quickly. And I just think, to me, these are the superpowers that you guys have got. It's having the due diligence, and I can see all the paperwork in front of us. For anyone listening on iTunes and Spotify, like Nicola's got all of this all like planned out in a talk that she's given before. and it's just watching this come together. I can see how you guys are such a power couple, because those relationships and that skill set, they're leading to almost $300,000 in profit, $269,000. It's incredible.
It's Mark.
Yeah, it's good.
It's Mark with his relationship.
So, well, in that case, can I keep most of that money then, honey?
But is there anything else that you'd like to add to this for someone that's thinking about doing a land split, doing a JV, doing like basically a project that is similar to, that you think they should really know about?
Yeah, I think that people need to be educated. Just for somebody who's just off the street, so I'm just going to do it, could end up in all sorts of strife. And there has been other mum and dad investors who are not educated, who've got themselves into a bit of strife. So I think that having education, so you know exactly what you can and can't do and where to go, is by far a big thing for us. We've spent a lot of money on education, and it pays dividend. There's no question about that. And also having, with that education, is getting your A team together. We call it the A team, being it the town planner, be it the conveyancer, be it the solicitor and everything else. So having a team in place and using the team that you're happy with and they're really, really good, it makes everything so much easier.
Can I ask you guys then, because I know you have very heavily invested in your education, how did you choose? Because there's so many, everyone's got a course these days. Everyone's got some kind of a something that they're offering. How did you choose who to follow?
I can't say that we've always chosen wisely, Todd, to be honest. Like we did waste some money as well, or not really get value that we felt that we should from a very expensive course.
Okay.
So I don't think that we've got the absolute answer to that, because we've trial and errored as well. So yeah, I mean, one of the best educators that we've been with was recommended by a friend, which is always good.
Yeah, personal recommendation.
Yeah. And sometimes it's better to take that recommendation a year after they've started the course, because we've also had recommendations when somebody's got into stuff and it's been very early on and they're, it's fantastic, but ask them a year later and they're like, no, the value wasn't there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And doing your own research and stuff as well with the people. And I suppose that's one thing we've learned now from, like Nick was saying, that sometimes we haven't had quite the experience we're expected or told we're going to get. But by now, if we look at another education course, we look into it fairly well and make sure that, we're happy, not just go along and go to a seminar and go, oh, thanks very much. Hey, yep, here we go. The pressure, sign. It's really go along, have a look and do your due diligence and ask other people and just research.
Okay. And for anyone that's listening right now, what's an action step? Something they can pull out the headphones. And again, if they're following the line of wanting to do a land subdivision or a JV partnership, what's something that they can action straight away?
I think podcasts are fantastic. I think that following a podcast, or many of them, is brilliant, and it's really free education. So you can do that with obviously just a bit of time with no money.
Yeah,
and especially Peter and property. You've got to follow that one.
Thank you for the plug. Actually, on that note, very quickly, do you guys have a favourite book?
I've just read for the first time Rich Dad Poor Dad. And
First time?
I know.
It's 2023.
I'm way too old. And we're way far down the track that I should have read that ages ago, but I liked it.
What did you think of it, actually? I don't think I've ever ever heard of someone with such a developed mindset, accomplished, like everything. Like you guys are so successful in what you do. Reading it with that mindset versus usually it's the book that people read when they're developing the mindset you've got. Yeah. What did you think?
It's just, it's good because it reaffirms not just what you've known, but what you've been told over and over again through your education. So it's just another confirmation of what you've learnt.
Okay, so it's like I'm on the right track.
Yeah. And
Okay.
things can seem a bit basic when you've gone quite far down, but it's still nice, and still nice to have a reminder about things. Every now and again, you'll remember something that you'd forgotten that you knew.
Remembered something that you've forgotten that you knew.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, it does to you. That's all that matters.
Yeah, in my head it does.
And how about yourself, Mark? Is there a favourite book or anything that really got
Anything
you
with
going?
Dr. Zeus is pretty good.
Doctor,
Yeah, that sort of stuff. But no, I don't read. I'm a bit dyslexic, so that's
Get
why
on-
Nick does all the spelling and all that sort of stuff. So I don't read. I can hardly read stuff.
Do
I
you
mean,
get
I
on
can do
au-
basic stuff, but yeah.
you get an Audible though, like for audiobooks?
Well, I haven't done that, but we should do that for sure.
It's
We-
worth
we
a
did.
try because I don't read either.
Yeah.
But I always listen to books.
We did do. We listened to the Barefoot Investor.
Barefoot
didn't we?
Investor, yeah, we
Across
did,
the
yes,
Nullarbor Plains
yep.
once.
What'd you think?
That was
It's
great.
great, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great first book, I think, if you're starting out in just getting a picture of money. Our kids have just read it and they're now like sort of opening their minds up a bit more to, not go out and get credit cards and not buy a car on a loan
On a
and
loan
things
and
like
stuff,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really useful.
Excellent. Well, I've asked you both this question once before, and it's been a while, so it may have changed because I know my answer's changed. I was actually asked this question yesterday, but I need to ask you, Mark and Nicola, what is your favourite pizza?
My favourite pizza is a new one from when the last time we did a podcast with you,
Okay,
and it's called the Caveman Pizza.
Caveman. Why does
You
that
name
sound
it,
so
it's
familiar?
got every meat known to mankind on it.
Okay.
Couldn't suit you, Todd.
Well, it would now actually. I've started eating
back
meat
on
again.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But where are you getting Caveman from? Anywhere special?
Yeah, from the Deep Blue Cafe down at Moana.
You're Southern. Love it. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And how about yourself, Nicola?
And actually from the same place, they do amazing pizzas. I have one called Puttanesca.
Puttanesca.
Yeah, that's got olives and anchovies on it as well as salami.
Excellent. Okay, the Puttanesca at Deep Blue Cafe. So if anyone's ever in Adelaide, drive all the way down south to Moana. And if you're here on a nice day as well, or there on a nice day, you can drive on the beach at Moana. I actually grew up around there. It's a beautiful little spot.
It's awesome.
But guys, I got to say thank you so much for taking the time to come into the studio today. Really appreciate you sharing your story. You've done an amazing job, and I know that we're only going to talk again in the future and hear more amazingness from you.
That's right.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having
Thank you for the
us.
opportunity again, Todd. It's awesome. Thank you.